At 3:30, we got UAB, who's 1-0, traveling to Navy, who's also 1-0. Navy favored by 21 points on CBS Sports Network. Kind of an elimination game. You don't see many of these early on in the college football college football season, but you have two group of five teams that are now sitting at 1-0 in an elimination game. Jalen Kitna for the Blazers went 18-23, threw for 247 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Javon Jackson had 17 carries for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Corey Milliner had 5 catches for 98 yards and a touchdown. Blake Horvath for the midshipmen went 6-7, threw for 66 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Braxton Woodson had 7 carries for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Eli Heidenreich had 6 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown. Navy is 2-0 against UAB all time. In 2023 and 2024, they won. The last time UAB went on the road to Navy, they lost 31-6. Again, Navy is my pick to make the college football playoff. I said that last week before the season started. They are still my college football playoff pick. And honestly, it looks a lot better now that Boise State has that loss, right, to USF. Navy is still that team to me, and I understand. I actually really like that now Tulane and USF is getting all that attention because it means I think my Navy midshipmen can really sneak under the radar and be a really, really solid team. Again, Navy's schedule works out very well where they do not play really a American Conference team that can compete until November. And not only that, they don't play a team that made a bowl game last year till November, and that's such a massive win for Navy's schedule. Again, this is a Navy team that I think is going to be really, really good this year. I think this is a Navy team that brought back a lot of talent from last year. And they avoid Tulane, which is a big win for them. The Army game looks a lot easier now that they lost to Tarleton State, although that game doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But you're talking about North Texas, which, again, that's not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination, and USF, and maybe they play Memphis. I do not remember. But you're talking about 3 games of their entire season, and they have to go try to beat Notre Dame, right? That is going to be the big ask, right? If you're talking about Navy from the, I don't know if they can make the college football playoff perspective, that's the game, right? That's the game. Number one, they play USF, and they play Memphis, maybe. I don't remember. But they do play North Texas. And North Texas and USF are absolutely going to be contenders in the American this year. The question is, can Navy beat those teams, but then also try and play a close game against Notre Dame? That's going to be the big question mark. Can they do that? I still think this is a Navy team that can absolutely do that. They have a lot of talent there. I don't think Notre Dame is nearly as good this year. I think it's going to be really interesting next week when Notre Dame plays Texas A&M. That's going to be a massive game between those two teams. I think the midshipmen are a really good team. They are still my college football playoff pick. UAB survived a very close game against Alabama State last week. But Alabama State is not a good football team. They're an FCS football team that's mediocre. UAB is 1-0, but they are that's a mirage 1-0. This is not a good football team. This is a team Navy should run over. I like the midshipmen to win. I like the midshipmen to cover pretty easily.